Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about the Kaha gore-tex boot from HOKA 11. Now this is a really popular choice for people who like extra cushion in their step, or people who have arthritis or other joint pain issues and just want a softer walk. If you're new to the channel, my name's Ben, and I'm part of the team here at the Adventure Junkies, where we help people like you choose the right gear to get outdoors. If you want to learn more, go ahead and visit our website at www.theadventurejunkies.com. And now let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the men's Kaha gore-tex boot from HOKA 11. So the mid-height version that we tested retails for $220. That's on the high side compared to some of the other boots we tested this season, but it's not the highest. They're available in standard sizing 8 through 14, and they're not available in a wide version. In terms of weight, this is one of the upsides of the Kaha. They're pretty light. They actually look heavy because of this thick midsole, but they're not. My size 13s weigh 1 pound 5.5 ounces, or 617 grams per shoe. I know that's really hard to quantify. It doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, but they don't feel heavy on your feet. They actually feel quite light on your foot. So this is a fully waterproof boot, as the Gore-Tex and the Gore-Tex name suggests. They do use a Gore-Tex waterproof bootie. The upper is also constructed of full grain leather, and that's going to aid in water resistance as well. In terms of breathability, I found this boot to be about as breathable as every other waterproof boot out there, which is just to say that I don't think it breathes all that well. I don't think any waterproof boot breathes all that well. The tongue breathes a bit, but yeah, overall pretty hot, pretty warm boot. So like I mentioned, we have a full grain leather upper, and then we have synthetic mesh around the ankle, a synthetic mesh fully gusseted tongue, and a little rubber toe bumper here as well. And the tongue is a little annoying. It's pretty pliable, and we'll get into that in a bit. Looking at the lacing system, this is pretty standard boot lacing. You do have an extra eyelet here and two lace hooks on the top bit. So that just kind of gives you a few more options if you like to customize your lacing, to really lock your foot in place. So that's always nice to see. All right, so as I lace these up, my biggest gripe here is the tongue. For whatever reason, this tongue doesn't lay right. Even if you put the strings through the little webbing loop there, just kind of, I don't know. It's not uncomfortable necessarily, but just a little weird. So, not too hard to lace up. So now let's take a look at the midsole. That's basically what makes HOKA 11 shoes HOKA 11 shoes. And it's this giant midsole. Now this is what makes this shoe, like I just said, this is what makes this shoe this shoe. It offers a ton of cushion, and that's what makes this shoe good for people with arthritis, joint issues, who need that extra cushion as they're walking along. That outsole is the Vibram Mega Grip sole, and this thing is no joke. It's one of the grippiest soles that we've seen this season. Lastly, let's look at the insole. Pretty thin, pretty cushiony actually, but since this is removable, you could remove it and use custom orthotics or add your own insole if for whatever reason you don't like this one. Alright, so now that we've covered basic construction, let's get to what you're probably really here for. Let's talk about performance. So I just mentioned the Vibram Mega Grip outsole. Let's talk about traction. As I said, this is one of the grippiest soles I've ever used. The sole is incredibly grippy on all types of terrain, everything I tested it in. It didn't perform quite as well as I would have liked on wet granite. I did slip around a little bit, but it did work well on loose gravel, packed dirt, mud, roots, even traveling cross-country on loose pine needles and duff and like loose dirt and things like that. So while I was out, I did get rained on, and the Gore-Tex upper held up well. What I did notice though is that this full grain leather soaks up water and shows immediately. But that's probably just the way it is. I didn't have any wet feet, so no complaints there. As far as stiffness goes, this is not a stiff hiking boot. It's pretty flexy. The sole is somewhat stiff, but this upper is as soft as can be. And I actually think it's too soft, personally. Right out of the box though, they are comfortable. Maybe around mile 5, they were basically completely broken in. So I found the Kaha to be fairly stable on even terrain. It has a really wide footprint, significantly wider than the upper here. And that just aids in stability. I did not find them to be stable on technical terrain, loose terrain, steep terrain. The sole is so grippy and the upper is so soft that my foot just wants to slide around and almost roll my ankle. I changed my lacing strategy and that helped a bit, but really not a stable boot as far as I'm concerned. I also didn't find this boot to be too supportive. Sort of middle of the road in terms of support. I had them with a 20-pound pack, and they hiked well as long as I was on flat terrain. There's a good deal of heel support that helps with carrying the weight. This bit is just so soft, there really isn't a ton of ankle support. So now let's talk about cushioning. This shoe has more cushioning than any shoe I've ever worn. And I'm not kidding, it swallows rocks. When I was purposely seeking out rocks to step on when I was testing these, and I mean, it just goes into the shoe. You don't like go up and over it, it literally swallows it. So pretty impressive in the cushion department. A lot of shoes have rock plates to protect against sharp edges and rocks, and this just has a lot of cushion to absorb it. Again, really good on your joints if you have back problems, knee problems, anything like that, because it's so cushiony. So in terms of fit, I think this shoe runs pretty true to size. I wear a size 13. I ordered the size 13. They fit me well. It's a little narrow for my liking. I'd like to see it a little wider, even though I think these boots kind of run wide. I just have a wide foot, so I would appreciate a wide size. The toe box is wider than many boots that we tested, although I'd still like to see it a little wider. I prefer a wide toe box. That's all personal preference. A narrow toe box locks your foot in place and makes sure it doesn't move around. A wide toe box just lets your toes spread out and aids in stability. I like a wider toe box, but it just has a lot to do with my foot shape and personal preference. I think the overall construction of these seems nice. They still look new, and I've got about 50 miles on them. I mean, they're dirty, but they're not scuffed up and they're not falling apart. There are some reviews online, and I've talked to people who have said that their soles started to delaminate at some point. Although throughout our testing process, I mean, we've had zero issues. So no problems here. Just a quick note before we move on and talk about comfort. If you're at all enjoying our video review, please make sure to like and share it. Help out your fellow hikers so more people like you can find the video. All right, let's talk about comfort. I mean, these are really comfortable boots. All this cushion and this soft upper, I mean, yeah, comfort, pretty much right out of the box. Like I said before, they broke in the first 5 miles. Very soft, and they remain comfortable on even terrain. The caveat there is that they lack lateral support. That was probably one of my least favorite things about this boot, is the lack of lateral support. So if you're on uneven terrain, my foot was sliding around, and I'm talking about not uneven, but steep terrain. They just became a little uncomfortable in that situation. All right, so the big question, who is this boot for? In my mind, this boot is all about the cushion. If you want the cushion, if you need the cushion, so you have joint pain, arthritis, or you just like a lot of cushion in your step, then this boot is for you. I recommend it for day hiking. I do not recommend it for backpacking, and that is just because of the lack of support and how soft these uppers are. I just don't think they have the ankle stability needed for carrying heavy loads, especially on steep terrain. What do I like about it? This boot excels in a few areas, actually. So obviously the super grippy outsole performed really well. I found the waterproofness to be on par with pretty much every other waterproof boot out there. They also performed really well on even terrain. I think they climbed really well. As you're walking uphill, it just feels like they're pushing you up the hill, which is really nice. Lastly, what do I not like about it? I feel like they just fell short on steep, uneven technical terrain. I wouldn't recommend them for backpacking for that reason. I found the lacing system to be a little annoying, the tongue is a little annoying, and the lack of lateral support really bothered me. I felt like I might roll an ankle when I was on a steep hill, so that's probably my least favorite thing about these boots. All right, everybody, that is pretty much it. If you like this review, please make sure to like and share it. And if you have a pair of Kahas and you think I got something wrong or you disagree with something I said, let us know in the comments below. That's helpful for us. That's helpful for other hikers out there. Lastly, if you want to buy a pair of Kahas from HOKA 11, you can purchase them from the link in the description below. Just a quick note, those are affiliate links, so we earn a small commission on each sale, and that just helps us make more videos like these and help more hikers like you. If you liked this video review, you're definitely going to want to check out these video reviews as well. All right, that's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Happy hiking.